Yesterday I went up to Rivington. Listen to this. I thought, right, I need to be healthy and I really want a Sunday roast. So I've walked from my house up to Rivington Barn. It took me about an hour. And it's hills as well. I was knackered, sweaty. Got there, couldn't wait for this Sunday roast. Walked in, fruit door, and it's all changed. Have you seen Rivington Barn now? But it's changed, hasn't it? It's all sit down, so you don't. It's not self-service anymore.
Right.
So I've walked in. This guy taking for tables. Can I have a table for one? It's like, sorry mate, we're fully booked up. I was like, fuck mate, I've just walked an hour, and there's loads of tables as well. I was just walked an hour, mate. I'll be half an hour. I'll throw something down. I'm starving. And he's like, no, sorry, pal, we've booked, so it's Mother's Day, wasn't it?
Yeah.
So I was like, oh. So I walked an hour and a half back, all the way back, got home, and that's why I did that second video when I got home, and that's why I was eating tomato soup, but and it was all over my face on the video. And I noticed as well, I need a shave on the video yesterday. But did you see both of the videos yesterday?
I saw, yeah. I caught your second one live and first one obviously did here at Kitchen.
I've had so many messages off it, and I think obviously we shut the kitchen down because of for a million different reasons, but mainly because we just didn't want to do it anymore. And and it's like I feel like a weight off my shoulders, and I've had a million messages about blaming the council and stuff like that. And obviously, yeah, there's a lot of blame to go about. But responsibility obviously is mine, and that's what I said I wanted to do the video on today. So I didn't see my mum yesterday because obviously she's gone away with my grandma. So I spent the day went for a walk and did a few videos and stuff. And obviously I was in here in the morning, did the first video in here in the morning. But I wanted to do most of today's podcast on responsibility of owning a business.
Before that, what do you reckon about your mum's influence on you? In that
business,
sort of regard,
you see the post
business.
I put on. The post I put on Facebook yesterday was I think it said it's an old post that I put about, it's probably longer than a year ago now, when I got interviewed by a business magazine, and they asked me what I think the biggest influence to my success has been, and I was saying everything that I am and everything that I ever will be is thanks to my loving and amazing mother, and I really believe that. I think I remember I did a video for her recently. It was a 60th recently, and she'll hate me for saying that on camera. But they did a This Is Your Life for her and all her friends. You know, they bring the red book out.
Yeah.
But it was Dan who arranged it all. And I had to do a video for it because obviously there was away. There was on some trip with all the friends, and I did a video on her. I said, because she obviously knows now because I did the video, but I don't think she realised how much of an influence she had on me, especially when it comes to hard work. You know, I think I was about 13-ish. We're about 13. My mum was probably about, I can't even think how old she would have been because obviously she's 60 now.
Don't mention ages of women.
I'm trying to think how old she would have been, because it's important, because I think she got left by my stepdad, and she was at a certain age where it's hard to change your life. It's hard to start getting into something else, and she had to go back to college. She had to bring 3 kids up on her own. She'd been left in a lot of debt by my stepdad. She had to bring us all up. She had a house that she couldn't afford anymore, and she went back to college. Taught herself, probably wrong on what she actually taught herself. I think it was like nursing or something along them lines. Right. She does like she's a health inspector now. Goes around to people's houses and checks babies are alright and healthy, and they know what they're doing when they're bringing the babies up. But she went back to college, and she got herself a career basically at the age of, let's say 35. She's three kids at home. Literally losing the house because she couldn't afford to pay it, because obviously she was on her own. She had 3 kids to bring up.
And time.
And I remember time to do it all. Yeah. And I remember being in the front room when we was kids and watching my mum do her coursework. And I remember having all the coloured pencils out, and she was doing everything by hand then, because there was no computers and stuff. Well, there was computers, but it wasn't done. College work wasn't done on that. She had big folders out everywhere. and working all night, working through the day, then coming on doing a college work all night to get herself a career to obviously bring the kids up. And I remember the hard work she put in, and obviously where we got and what she did for us. That's one of the biggest influences in my life when it comes to hard work. I think that's like I said, like most influence. Obviously, she was out with my grandma yesterday, and I remember I messaged her yesterday saying, "How's grandma?" and stuff. I don't see her enough, really, to be honest with you. I only see her once every couple of weeks or something. I need to go more. But my grandma and my granddad are probably one of the biggest influences in my life as well. If anybody ever said to me, my granddad's passed away now, but if anyone had said, like, who would you want to be when you're older, would have probably been my granddad, because they were together. My grandma and granddad were together from first meeting, first falling in love as kids. Right. And he was a proper family man. My granddad, he was successful, big house, big family, loving family. He was a proper family. He was a proper man's man. So yeah, my mum's influence and obviously my grandma and granddad's influence on my life has been massive, and I think it's really important. I don't think my mum realised how much of an influence she would have had on me. She just doing what she had to do. Yeah, that really affects me. And there's loads of little things I remember from being. I've got the worst memory in the world. I still remember the things that my mum did for us.
Starting again at any age. Change. So any age is hard work, let alone with 3 kids.
Yeah.
No time, because kids take time. I've only got 1, and that takes a lot of time up.
And my mum never even. She's the first to admit she was a nightmare at school. So she never had qualifications from school or anything.
No.
So she had to start from scratch, and she went back to college and did. I think it was a nursery nurse. She the course she did or something.
But it's led to what she's doing now. So
she's doing really well now, and she did really well to bring us all up. And obviously, I think we've all done well. Yeah. So it's a credit to her. But I think hard work is what we was talking about yesterday. Hard work is one of my traits. But the kitchen closing, I think everyone's thinking. I think me talking about the council and the way they did the health and safety stuff yesterday, everyone jumped on that and it was like, yeah, the bastards, you shouldn't have to shut because of that. And it wasn't. It's not the reason at all. The reason I've shut is because I don't want to do it anymore. And everyone sees me as a hard worker, so they must think the tattoo studio's been successful because we worked really hard at that. I was a professional boxer. From 14 stone I got down to 10 stone and fought professionally and won 8 fights at 10 stone, so I worked super hard at that. The reason I worked hard at that is because I loved it.
Yeah.
And then it comes to the health kitchen and people think, well, it can't be because he's not worked hard enough, because we know he's a hard worker. The truth is, it's because I've not worked hard enough. It's because I don't want to do the hard work it takes, because I don't like the end result.
What didn't you expect?
I remember I've always wanted to own a restaurant. I love eating out. I eat out a lot, and I go in restaurants and I'll sit and eat in someone's restaurant and I think, imagine owning this place. Imagine sitting at the bar drinking a whiskey and watching all these people eat. And that's the pretty side of it, isn't it? That's the side that we all see and we all think it must be amazing to own this. Especially go somewhere like St. Cowell's and it's packed and people are paying a fortune to eat there. You don't see the hard work. The super stressful hard work that goes in to make a business like that run like that. And I think that's part of your result.
Yeah.
The busier your kitchen gets, the busier your restaurant gets, the more stress, the more staff, the more problems it's going to bring. More money, more problems. Do you know what I'm saying? So it's like, I think we opened the health kitchen with the intention of making a super busy, super successful kitchen for money only. And when you see the real picture, the money's a part of the success. I think I see it. I break it down into 3 things to make anything work. To make anything work, basically, what you need to do is anything it takes to make it work. That's it. But that's the way you do anything. If you want to be a professional boxer, you've got to do whatever training it takes to be a successful professional boxer. You've got to do whatever it takes. If you want to own a tattoo studio, you've got to be prepared to do whatever it takes. And there's a lot more behind the scenes than you think. But if you love it, you'll be more than prepared to do the work because you're loving it, even though some of it's crap. We've got a really successful tattoo studio, and 80% of it's enjoyable, whereas 20% of it's awful. I mean, we dealt with some stress last weekend, or last weekend, Paul, all that drama. So we had all the we deal with like, and it was like, and it made me question what I'm doing. But then you've got to think about the other side of it, whereas it's really enjoyable, which we'll talk about in a little bit. But I think the kitchen, I didn't want to do the work. I didn't want to go to events and cook food and walk around with leaflets, and because I would have done that if the end result was enjoyable. The end result was stressful, and it's not all about money at the end of the day. We was making money. We were buying food in, selling it at a profit, and that's a successful business. Whereas the busier that got, the more, obviously, to make proper money, we wanted to packed out every single day. That would mean more staff, that would mean more stress with food and suppliers and many other things that we dealt with, like the council thing, the health and safety, the bullshit, the regulations behind that. So I just think it came to the point where I said to myself, I'm not prepared to do whatever it takes to make the success, because I don't really like the end result. I don't really like the success. So that's why I said, and we wasn't enjoying it. That's a big reason. No, you wasn't enjoying it. I got you here as you wasn't enjoying it. There's no
he was doing it for you,
it was
Paul.
stressful, wasn't it? You enjoyed a small part of it, but you didn't enjoy the actual work. And I got you here because I wanted you to enjoy your job. That's one of the biggest reasons why, one of my biggest satisfactions of having you working here is because I want you to enjoy what you're doing.
But my job is to make sure that I do whatever is needed for you and Paul. That's why I stood in, that's why I did what I did.
And you worked hard at it, but I wanted to see you having enjoyment in your job, you know what I mean? And everyone else who works behind a counter, so I stressed Katie gets stressed absolutely at anything. She's the biggest stress monster in the world, but I saw her starting to not enjoy her job, and I thought, this is just not worth it. Do you know what I mean? It's not worth it. I think success formula for anything is the knowledge. Having the knowledge of knowing what it takes to make a success is number one. B is the actual application of whatever it takes. You know what it takes. B is the application, doing whatever it takes to make it successful, and C is the result you're going to get. Now, if C, the result, is something you don't want, realistically, why would you ever do B? You would never do that, would you? I know what it takes to make a successful business because I've done it before, and I could do it again. With whatever business I could find out, we could find the knowledge from anywhere, and then we could apply it, hard work, because we're hard workers in general, and then, obviously, but when you see that, why am I doing this? Because C is not enjoyable, then you think, what are we even doing? That's why it's closed.
Was there a point that came apparent before you closed? Do you know what I mean? And if
Way
so,
before.
why did you go on for?
I'll tell you what. The biggest reason why I kept going for so long is pride. Didn't want to lose. That's the biggest reason, and I think social media these days is probably the biggest pressurized. That was the biggest pressure. Somebody seeing Danny Watson, who's supposed to be a successful businessman, failing a business was what was killing me. I was thinking, I've got to let everybody. And they made that video yesterday, and I was thinking, I've got to let everyone know he's shut in the kitchen. I feel like a failure. But
that's where you get your support from.
It's also been a success because I now know that I don't want a restaurant anymore. It was always a dream of mine to own my own restaurant. I never ever want to own my own restaurant. I don't even want the health kitchen. Do you know what I mean? So I never want a restaurant. I know that. I've lifted that rock up. I've looked underneath. I didn't like what I saw. I put it back down. I'm moving on to the next thing. And I think that is important for anybody to understand that if you don't understand what C is, then do it and try it out. And you find out eventually that the result, the C, is either what you really want or it's not. When boxing, for example, when we first started boxing when I was a kid, I trained my ass off for, I can't even think how long I trained for before I fought, but I didn't know what actual fighting was going to be like until I did it. And luckily I trained my ass off because I wanted to be because I watched a few Rocky movies and I wanted to be a professional boxer. He's not going to get in. Postman trying to get through the door. I trained my ass off, then I fought and I absolutely loved it. And I've trained again, and I kept going, and obviously I've done it all my life because I loved the result.
Yeah.
Whereas if I decided I want to be a boxer, and I went in my first fight and I hated it, I wouldn't have never trained as hard as I did, because I knew that C, the result, A, B and C, I knew that C, the result, was something that I didn't enjoy. But part of me, pride of me, would have probably made me carry on and and I probably would have been a shit boxer because I wouldn't put the training in. But I wanted to, but everyone thought Danny Watson's a boxer, it's cool, especially when you was a kid, it was well cool to be a boxer. So that part of me would have probably made me carry on, even though I hated fighting. We saw that all the time in the gym.
Yeah. Do you think that affected you?
What?
At all, at any point? That, what you just said then? You said being a boxer was cool when you was younger.
Definitely, yeah. I mean, I loved it. I was never good at any sports. We went to school together. You remember I was shit at all sports until I found boxing. And all of a sudden I found a sport that I was good at and I had a little bit of natural talent at, and it was like the best thing in the world. Got me a load of girls when I was when I was younger. I could never get a girl when I was younger because it just wasn't cool. And I became a boxer and I became good at it and everyone loved me. And I think, yeah, like I said, but especially now, I can't imagine what I would have been like growing up with social media. We was talking about the other day about Luca and that he's only 14 now and he's grown up with social media. I can imagine how much pressure.
Crackers,
The pressure you put on yourself. And all I said about the pressure of running the business and people watching how we did was more important to me than my own enjoyment of it.
Yeah.
Watching other people thinking, look at Danny's Health Kitchen do really well, was more important to me than me actually enjoying it, which is fucking stupid. It's crazy. It's unbelievable, isn't it, that I carried on for so long doing what we wasn't enjoying doing because I was worried about what other people thought. And I pride myself on not giving a shit what people think, but obviously, realistically, I do. And I think social media, I think a lot of we all want to be loved. We all want to be loved and we all want to be respected in some way. And I think social media can give you a false sense of that, and that's why people love it.
Because you're putting the best of yourself on there all the time.
Not even the best of yourself, a fake persona.
But generally, I think people will put. Like yesterday were great. Social media yesterday were great. If you went on any social media yesterday, you'd just see loads of people saying thanks, Mum. Yeah, Mother's Day is great.
I've not seen her all year.
Yeah.
Innit? I saw a post. Oz Chowdhury, an old lad who used to box with. I saw a post with he'd put on, and it was a cartoon like meme. And it was a picture of loads of people sat around the couch with a mum, all like the family are sat around and they're all taking selfies with the mum, and it said Mother's Day, and it said rest of the year, and it was mum sat on her own on the couch.
Oh man.
Do you know what I'm saying? It was just a sad thing, but it's like makes me think everyone was posting how much they loved their mums yesterday, and obviously we love our mums and we spend time with our mums and we'll do anything for them, but I can imagine how many people it's bullshit. Do you know what I mean? You can imagine, can't you? Then,
but also the amount of people that might feel, again, you say about pressure to do that. Oh, well, I'm with my mum. I need to take a pic. I don't, I'm not great on social media.
I think everything that we do nowadays, people want to put it on social media. Look at me doing this, and they probably spend more time videoing it and watching it through the screen on the phone. It's like let's say a big firework display. You're at a firework display. It's New Year's Eve. Everyone videos it and they watch it through the screen. Like, you could be at home doing that. Why don't you just enjoy it?
Yeah.
Because they want everyone to know. Look at me, I'm here.
Like when you go to a gig, a gig now. You're watching it through the camera. Like, could do that at home.
Exactly. Yeah. I can't imagine what it's like. It's going to be like to be a kid to grow up with it. I mean, to be totally honest, my mum was away. Like I said, so I didn't see my mum yesterday. I went and saw her on Friday because she was going away with my grandma. I spoke all day to my mum. We was chatting all day about my grandma because she saw my grandma in a wheelchair. I was like, why is grandma in a wheelchair? And apparently they take it with them every time they go away now because she's not great at long distance walking. They push her in a wheelchair. So I was like, first time I'd seen it, so I messaged her. And we was chatting all day, and I thought, we've not even spoke. We've messaged, we've been in communication all day, but we haven't actually spoken because we're just messaging, text messaging. Well, we're not even text messaging, Facebook. We was Facebooking with my mum. And I think that's the way people are growing up now. Yeah. Communication is gonna be dead. It's unbelievable, isn't it? I think when you're growing up 13-year-old, I mean, imagine how good it would be when you were chatting girls up though. It's so easy on Facebook.
Never.
But I could, when I was
across
younger, I could never chat a girl up. Do you know what I mean? But when
you can think about it,
you had social media, it's easy. You just
spot,
get a no, and it's like, no, it's only a computer screen, isn't it?
Yeah.
So they must have
Next.
next one, Facebook.
But it's mad. Yeah, it's mad.
Imagine growing up like that. It must. The social side of the world is going to be ruined.
You probably plug in.
Anti-social media, they should call it.
Probably plug into it. Just going back to the kitchen then.
Yeah.
What sort of like responsibility do you think?
Well, that's what I wanted. That's what I did the video first to basically explain what I was doing in the kitchen. That was shutting it down. I was trying to explain the reason why. One of the biggest reasons. Well, did you see the story that I did? That I did a little story on there. There was a story that we read when me and Paul was in Croatia. Do you remember that, Paul? Oh. That little bar, Carpe Diem, and we read that. It's not like a little story about the fisherman and the businessman. Oh. Did you see that?
Well, Luca told me he uses it all the time with his dad.
It's brilliant. It's a brilliant story. We read it when we was in Croatia.
Go on then.
I'll tell you what. I wish we read it. How many years ago in Croatia?
3 years ago.
I wish I'd have listened to it then. I loved it, but I suppose I guess I didn't really listen to it. But it's more about. I mean, if you wanna see it, just Google the fisherman and the businessman, and it'll come up with the story. I posted it on my page last night. Well, I said it in the video, but I don't say it as well as it's written on Google. So if you just Google it, the fisherman and the businessman, and it basically talks about. Be careful what you wish for. You know, the businessman's trying to talk the fisherman into building a bigger business, and he's like, "What for?" He's like, "So you can be a millionaire." And he's like, "Well, so what do I do when I'm a millionaire?" And he says, "You do this, that, and he's like, "Well, that's what I'm doing now." It's just sort of waste of time and super stress. And we had the obviously the tattoo shop does well. The coffee shop was doing okay. It was paying the bills. It was super stress free. We rent the rest of the place out, so everything's going well and it's stress free. And then we think we want more. We want more money.
Why?
I don't know. I think I love a challenge. Well, because I wanted a restaurant. I wanted. We just wanted more. I thought. Like I said, the tattoo shop does get stressful, and you are constantly worrying about tomorrow. Realistically, so we thought. I thought another successful business would be just another security blanket, you know what I mean? But whereas it was totally the opposite, it was even more stressful. But don't get me wrong, I think probably I'll be going up to Paul next week with another business idea, and he was stressed out as well. But there'll be another thing.
Bolder than me.
No doubt there'll be another thing that we see and that we want to do that we end up jumping on. Yeah. And if we get into it and we find out that it's something else that we don't want to do, at least I know now. The best thing to do is say, right, we've tried it, we don't like it, let's move on. And instead of keep pushing out of pride.
I remember something you said to me probably 2 years ago. I was looking into trading, sports trading, and I was going down to Southampton doing it.
Yeah.
And you said, how much is it costing you? I said, 400 quid. He said, well, it's worth 400 quid. Find out that you don't want to do it.
Exactly.
And because you stop chasing it, then you do it, you experience it, and go, oh, actually. I can box that off now. Like you said, the analogy you used before, looked under the rock.
You like it or you don't like it.
I think everybody does it. Everyone has them phases where they go through and they go, I am going to do this, I'm going to be great. And then, but it's in different parts of their life. It might not be in business where you do a business, or people might do it like, I'm going to go on this diet.
Hobbies and diets and things like that, where you think, you've got to try it, and a lot of people are scared of trying it because they're scared of failing.
Yeah.
But it's really important to fail often, fail fast, because then you know what you want to do, what you don't want to do, and you know, and like I said, at least you tried it. And that 400 quid was worth every penny, because you was going on about sports trading for ages, weren't you? And I was like, I didn't think it was for you, because I knew it was pretty much gambling, weren't it? And you just not a risk taker whatsoever. No. But it was worth that 400 quid, and you learned something, and it's probably something you can apply to other things that you're going to be doing in the future.
I'm reading a book called, I've just finished it actually, it's called Black Box Thinking, and it's going on what you just said then, about, you know, like failing. As long as don't be afraid of failing, because there's something to be learned from.
Exactly.
Regardless how big or small that fail were, there's something to learn from it. There's something you'll take on to the next thing.
I've learned loads. Well, we've all learned loads from failing at the kitchen. Like I said, in certain respects, it wasn't a failure, because we were, like I said, we was buying food in and we were selling at a profit. It's a successful business in a sense, but the failure, it's not even. I can't even call it a failure, because at the end of the day, Oh, Jenny's in now. Oh, Jenny's voice all over everything. Tell it to be quiet. I think. Sorry, I've lost what I was saying then. Yeah, the biggest. It's for me. It's been a great success because now I know what I don't want to do. Yeah. It's a great. That for me is a great success because I always wanted a restaurant. Now I definitely don't want a restaurant. So what's next? Yeah, it's been a big success. So what was the? Oh, I had a.
What's next then, Paul?
Yeah, so what's next?
You just did you then? You said what's next?
No, we have options. We've got options, haven't we now? And we know what we don't want to do, and we know what works. Absolutely. So we know that we can either put a glass screen across, and we can rent the front of the shop out and keep the or we can rent the whole thing out, or we can get a franchise in here. There's a million things we can do. Yeah. But we know what we don't want to do now. So it's like I say, it's what's next. But the actual failure of the business, and this is what I was talking about when it came to responsibility, is 100%. We've got to take 100% responsibility for it. Not blame, but responsibility. It's blame and responsibility are completely different things. We can blame it on a million things, like the council, like not getting the right staff, like cost of food, or whatever. There's a million reasons, but that's the same for everybody. Yeah. That's the same for Kettlebell Kitchen that are absolutely flying. Yeah. Do you know what I mean? They're paying the same. Well, they're probably not paying the same. They've probably been they've found better supplies. They've actually put in the work. They've done B because they wanted C. Do you know what I mean? Because obviously that's what she wants. Yeah. Whereas what I've done is I've found out what you needed to do. I found out what C actually looks like because it's been busy in here and it's been packed out busy, and I knew how stressful it was then. I'm thinking if we get it even busier, what the fuck do we do then? It's even more stressful. So why can one person make a success out of it when the other person can't? And they've got exactly the same blame. They've got exactly the same things to blame. They've got council tax coming out of their ears, which is another thing I can rant about with the council. How unbelievably shocking that thing is. Business rates, which is what you pay on a business. Council tax for business is business rates.
What do you think they're high?
Oh, fucking! Oh yeah, I'll explain that in a bit. But yeah, they're another thing I could blame, and I could blame. Like I said, we've had some shocking staff people come in and tell us they promise us the world, and then not.
But not just. I mean, I'd take blame because it's stuff that, even stepping in, there's stuff that I knew that I weren't. Like I said, see, the result for me were I just did what I could and what I wanted to do. Probably didn't do the grimy stuff as much as I should have done. Let's take it for example. I feel that with the kitchen in particular, because I was trying to stay on the marketing side of stuff, and I did the rounds going to gyms and things, but I felt, now looking back, I could have jumped behind, and I could have been. Yeah,
but you wasn't employed to do that, and it's not your responsibility to do that. If I wanted you to do that, I'd have said, Pete, you're employed by me. That's what you got to do. Right. And you've done it. You know what I mean? Yeah. It's my responsibility. I can't blame anybody except for myself because I employed the people. I trained the people, or didn't train the people. Yeah. Do you know what I mean? We supplied the equipment, the location. So there's a million. So I can blame everything. If, for example, a tornado came tomorrow and ripped through Bolton and ripped the shops to shreds, I'm not to blame for that. But the responsibility of getting the business back on track
is yours. Yeah.
Sweeping up, cleaning out, getting the skips, getting it back in, that's my responsibility. That's up to me. Do you know what I mean? So I can't be blamed for the council being so shit. I can't be blamed for it not being busy enough in Bolton Town Centre. There's a million reasons I can blame, but responsibility wise, it's mine. I knew what it took. I know exactly what it took. I knew what the hard work was, but I just didn't want to do it. We both looked at each other, me and Paul, and we said, what are we doing? You know what I mean? Well, why are we even doing this? Because we're not looking forward to the result. No. So we stopped. And it's like I said, it's not a failure, it's a success. But 100% take the blame. I think a leader in any business has to take 100% of the responsibility for it, because it's like being captain of a football team. And if it's comes down to a penalty at the end and it's either win or lose, the captain, he's got to stand up and say, I'm prepared to take that, even if he's shit at penalties. You know what I mean? If he's never won a penalty in his life, but he's got to stand up and he's got to take responsibility. That's what being a leader is.
Yeah.
It's hard to take the pressure on my shoulders, and I'm going to take the responsibility for winning or losing this game. And that's what it takes.
Sorry, you can leave, pen. That's funny.
But we've changed our mind of what we want to do now, and we're on to the next thing. Those that never change their mind never change anything. Do you know what I mean? And we could have done another 12 months of being stressed, and it probably would have ended up in nightmare. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Probably would have ended up with you not enjoying your job and wanting to do something else. It would have ended up with some of the staff that we love and we want here for as long as we can leaving because they weren't enjoying it. But now we're moving on to the next thing and everyone's happy and everyone. So it's a success.
Yeah.
I got a load of messages saying, "Don't blame yourself." I'm like, it's not a bad thing. It's actually a good thing. I feel like a weight lifted off my shoulders. So it is actually a good thing. What else do we want to talk about today? Is that everything?
That's everything. Covered it. Mother's Day.
So yeah, I think that's all I really wanted to do on the podcast today was to say, well, to explain why we shut.
Yeah.
To explain that it's not a bad thing. It's actually a good thing. It's the start of the next chapter. I think like one of the things we picked up on was the reason I kept going was out of pride and out of what I thought people wanted to see, not what I was. I was worried about everyone else rather than worrying about myself and the people closest to me. I think that's a really important thing people need to understand is stop posting a fake life on social media. It's so easy because you get likes, and that's why social media works. Because everyone wants to be loved. They're all looking for that like on on your Facebook, on your pictures. And I think the most important thing, more important than anything, is being yourself. And you'll get more likes than anything. You'll probably get more hate than anything as well. Because some people will love you, some people will hate you. But if you're yourself, it's so much easier. It's so much weight off your shoulders. Look at the girls these days that post pictures on social media and they're so fake, they look nothing like them. It's crazy because there's so many filters and stuff now. What do they actually do when they go out then? What do they actually do when they arrange a date for that picture? They can't wear the dog filter onto a date.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
I might start putting wigs on.
You start putting a wig on and then you're fucked. You got a wig on forever. You can never be yourself. Do you know what I'm saying? It's just so much easier and so much. It's not only about making it easier. It's better. You'll get so much more love being yourself.
I think you said about the pride on your shoulders. I think being yourself, you don't have to be anything else. So there's no pressure on your shoulders. You're just being who you are.
Yeah, we're just doing and that's why the tattoo shop worked, because we're just doing what we love to do.
Yeah. And
it's just worked over the last how many years have we done this for now? Well, I've had a tattoo shop for 14 years now, but we've been together in Bolton for
7 years, haven't we?
more 7 or 8 years, and it's been success after success. Believe me, it's been some stress. It's been 20% hard stress and it's been 80% enjoyment.
But that's a good upside.
And that's why people think Danny Watson is such an hard worker. He must work so hard. Not really. when it came to the kitchen, I was like, fuck that. I don't want to go out and do that and go to events.
But if it's something you love.
Yeah, if it's something you love, I worked my ass off. Boxing, I loved it, and some of the training was horrible. Yeah. But the reason I did the training is because I loved the result at the end of winning a fight.
Before we wrap it up, just what's the purpose of the podcast? Why have we started doing it, and what do you want to achieve by doing it?
I think the reason the podcast and my page, my business page on. Insta. It keeps me.
It's both in it, Instagram, Facebook.
Facebook mainly. The reason I do that, it's not business. It's not even a business. It's just the reason I have the business page on Facebook is to keep myself accountable. So conversations like this, it's just me getting like the weight off my shoulders and talking. I love to talk about things. I was talking to a guy on Facebook the other day and he was saying, do you always talk? Because I did Shinny Show, went on the Shinny Show live and we was talking about being a gambling addict in the past and problems with it, and got even though I'm over that now and I've been like what you call clean for like 10 years from being a gambling addict, over 10 years now. it was even just doing the chinny show, talking about it was like getting a weight off my shoulders. Do you know what I'm saying? So I think talking about this now and explaining it, I think you've been a teacher, and I think in boxing, I think when you teach somebody something, you learn more. With the apprentices in the tattoo studio, when I'm teaching them to do something, I remind myself of. So this for me is for me.
Yeah.
Realistically, the podcast and the business page. I know you don't like the business. Well, you like the business page, but some of the stuff that I put on the business page, like I put business, I put personal development, I put travel, I put everything on there. I put loads of comedy on there because for me, that just keeps me happy.
Yeah.
Anything that's positive and that's happy for me goes on my business page. It's Daniel James Watson, the business page. And my personal page is Daniel James Watson as well. But
so for others, what is it? What is this for? What do you want to bring? Do you want to bring people in, or what?
Yeah, we're gonna get a guest in to talk about anything that they're clued up on. You know, but Kev hopefully coming in. He's been saying he's going to come in for weeks, but we're going to get Kev in to talk about. He's really knowledgeable on things like energy systems, just training in general. He's a PT and he's a very good PT. He's really good at CrossFit, really good at strength and conditioning. We're going to get him in talking about all that type of stuff. Matt wants to come on. I want Matt to come on as well because he's a really clued up boxer. He's not a boxer, he's a coach, but he's on boxing. He's an expert.
And a businessman.
He's like a encyclopedia of boxing. It's unbelievable what he knows about boxing just because he loves it. Do you know what I'm saying? He absolutely loves it, so he's really good at it. He's passionate about it. His business is flying because he loves it. And that's good. Brings me back to the point of what I was saying about the tattoo studio. The tattoo studio is doing really well because of very much I enjoy the results of the tattoo studio. I think probably the biggest, the best part of the tattoo studio, and even though they hate me, is my apprentices. I see my apprentices coming up, coming from when they first walk through the door with their artwork, and I see potential, and it's not brilliant, but I see potential in it. Remember Jess? In fact, I'll tell you what story. Jess came to apply for an apprenticeship about a year before she actually got one, and her artwork wasn't brilliant. And do you know why? This is another point as well. She wasn't being herself. She'd brought me artwork that she thought I wanted to see, so she'd drawn a lot of like tattoo style stuff that she wasn't brilliant at. And she brought it in, and I said it's not good enough for an apprenticeship here, and we took somebody else on. And a year later, I think it must have been a year, or maybe even 2 years later, she brought. I don't even think she brought. I saw her actual artwork, stuff she loves doing. I saw that on the Facebook, and she got the apprenticeship because of her artwork. When she was actually being herself, when she was doing the thing that she actually loves doing, she's amazing at it. And I think the reason why I work so hard at the tattoo shop is because it's a good business. We make good money at it, and I love actually the physical tattooing. But when it comes to the business, I could go and have a so much easier life working at somebody else's tattoo studio. My life would be so easy. I think about that sometimes. But the best thing about running the studio has been bringing up the apprentices and seeing them come through from doing average artwork to getting better and better at artwork to eventually starting to tattoo, and now watching Leah and Jess the other weekend just gone at a convention and getting real big recognition, doing amazing artwork, being confident. Like I said, that really cheered. I love them to bit, and they hate me because I bullied them for like 2 years when they're an apprentice, and they've got every right to hate me. But doing that and helping them is probably the big. Like I said, so that's the results that you get from the hard work we put in, and that's why it's successful, because I love it so much. And there's also a flip side to that, the stressful side of it. It's worth it. You know, I've had people. I mean, I've had apprentices come and stab me in the back. And I tell you what, one thing about that as well, about doing right thing about people do good for you. I've had Dale and Becky, both been my apprentices, both doing really well now, flying, and they've got successful careers in tattooing because they've been honourable and they've done the right thing. They've come here, they've done the time that they were supposed to. They said they was going to do. Becky was there 6 or 7 years, wasn't she?
Yeah, 6 years.
Something along those lines. She's now doing really well for herself. Dale is the same. He was here for his full apprenticeship, his full term afterwards, and now he's doing really well for himself. I've got Jess and Leah that have both been here all the way through their apprenticeships, both doing really well for themselves. But I've also got people that came here, stabbed us in the back, did things the wrong way, tried to taking a shortcut into opening their own shop around the corner, which is a big no-no. When they first come to do the apprenticeship, we've always signed not signed contracts, but with verbal contracts. You don't open a shop within 20 miles. You don't steal your diary like Phil did and try and take customers from the shop. There's loads of little bits and bats of honour and respect thing inside it, and the ones that didn't do that, if you look at every single one of them, they've all fell on their ass. Got one lad tattooing out of a bedroom because he was a dick. Got one guy who opened a shop and it failed. Maybe not so much a bad thing for him, because I think he realised he actually doesn't want to own his own shop.
Right.
He doesn't even tattoo anymore. But I think that's the same as with Vida Health Kitchen. I think he's opened it thinking it was all sunshine and rainbows, what he sees on the outside of us, and then when he's realised the hard work, and he's thought, fuck that.
So coming through now, you've got
Jess,
good artists coming through.
Jess, Leah. Jess is flying. Her artwork's amazing. Leah is getting there, and she's getting. In fact, she's got a really big recognition now. Leah, hasn't she? She's got a really big following. Her artwork's getting better and better and better. She's slow as fuck. She drives me insane, but fucking, she's a top girl, She's doing really well. Got D, who started really fast actually. His artwork, I'd never tell him that, but his artwork's brilliant, and his tattoos are becoming really, really good straight away, early, so which is a great thing. Got Aidan. Aidan's got to come on the podcast. People need to meet Aidan. I'll tell you what Aidan will be like on this podcast. He'll be like, what's he called? Carl Pilkington on Ricky Gervais's podcast. I'm telling you, people need to meet Aidan.
Get him in on a Monday.
He's the strangest folk you'll ever meet, but he's a good artist, very good artist. He's on the way up. Got Megan, who started a very slow apprenticeship because she's only doing part-time. She's doing piercing, so she's doing alright. She works in the health kit, she works in the coffee shop now.
Yeah.
She'll be, and her artwork's brilliant, really good, but I never tell them that. But yeah, that's the most satisfying part of it. Yeah. Watching them come up, and also another satisfying part is watching someone who stabs you in the back fall flat on the face. It's true, isn't it? Because I think
nothing better than someone failing after they stab you. Yeah. When you see them going. And
that's not a nice thing to do, but it's karma. I think I think we do a lot for people, and they probably don't really see what we're doing for them, but we do a lot for the people that work here.
Yeah.
And it does mean a lot to me when they do well, and I want them to do well. I don't ever say that to the face because I'm not that type of person. Do you know what I mean? But I love to see them all doing well. It's the most satisfying part of my job.
It's a good bunch of people. I mean, I think the Christmas do. It's weird how diverse we all are. Yeah. You cannot say one of us is alike in what we do, in our habits outside of work, or. Yeah. But everyone, we sort of have that common ground, and we all get on. Yeah. It's fantastic.
It is strange how different we all are. I mean, we find that as a struggle sometimes, me and Paul. We find that as a struggle how different we are from most of the artists.
Yeah.
And it's been for 8 years worth of that, because we've tried arranging a works do and stuff like that, and we're all so different. It's always been very hard, but we have slowly over the 8 years formed a unit, a family unit, where got Jamie, completely different than me.
Yeah.
But we get on brilliantly. Got Nell. He's the strangest guy in the world, but I love him to bits. You know what I mean? I love him like a brother, because he is who he is. You know what I mean? He's always himself. Jess and Leah, completely different. Jess loves a wine. Leah never drinks. Yeah. But they get on perfectly. Do you know what I mean? They're completely different people, but they have something in common, like working here, and they get on brilliantly. It's the whole shop, and Aidan couldn't be any different, could he? He couldn't be any different than anybody in the world. He's like he's not even been born on this planet, but everyone loves him to bits because he is who he is. He's himself, and that's what we were saying before about being yourself. If you're just yourself, people just love you for who you are, because you're just being honestly being yourself instead of trying to be a fake person.
No, that's why I love him.
Well, 10 years ago, if I'm honest, I would have never ever have mixed with the people that I'm mixing with today. Yeah. No. Never. I never thought I'd ever even want to mix with the people that I'm mixing with.
But it's brilliant, isn't it? Yeah. I learned that
from. I've become more accepting. Yeah. And then them of me as well, you know what I mean?
Yeah, I think you were.
2 years ago. 2 years ago.
Yeah, you would have never thought.
I wouldn't have ever.
Thought you was working in a tattoo studio and stuff like that, would you?
Crackers. In a good way, in a and like you say, the learning, day-to-day learning is incredible. just on everything, because I feel that there's stuff with, I guess, you and Paul that we all strive to, you know, better. Do you know what I mean? And get and improve and do best for. I think what I found here is people want to do good by each other.
Yeah.
Like when you were saying about being accountable, you've got your webpage for being accountable, your Facebook thing, but I want to make sure that I do my job right by you, and then by Paul, and you and Paul will be doing the same with each other, and I'll do the same with Katie, and that interaction. Everyone wants to do the best for the person that they work with. So.
Yeah, it's good. That's the best thing about the old place, isn't it? The atmosphere, and everyone wants to help each other out. And there's always going to be, like in any family, there's always going to be some sort of bitching and arguing and stuff going on. But that's the most that's part of being a family. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? It's going to be like that. It's always
just don't bite. Don't bite.
You get wound up more than anyone. But I think, the whole place is going really well, and we're all loving what we're doing. I was going to say something then when I was talking. What was I talking about? And I had something to.
Your apprentices.
I had something to add to that. No, when you were talking, can't remember what it is now.
Be accountable. Everyone's striving to, you know, do something, and it might not be in the same regard. Everyone's striving for something, aren't they?
Yeah.
To better themselves.
No. I'll tell you what you was talking about that made me think about when I used to play poker. One of my favourite things about playing poker was the diversity of people that I met.
Diversity, yeah.
And I think we were sat at a table with the maddest mix of people you'll ever meet at a poker table. It's crazy. Like from a little old Asian guy to young girls. I was only a young lad at the time, 21, 22, 23. But I used to spend every single day with them, and some of them you would never even think of speaking to. The guy Iqbal became a really close friend of mine. I would never even look at him. I'd never think about speaking to him until we sat and got to know each other. Just accepting people for who they are. And like I said, if they be in themselves, one of the craziest guys I ever met was an alcoholic, and I can't. It's been that long ago. I can't even remember his name now. But he was one of the funniest people you'll ever meet. He was so fun. But then I came in, I went playing poker back. I'd been away for a month or two. I went back playing, and I sat down next to him, and I was like, "You all right?" And he was like, "Yeah." It was so strange. And I was like, "What's wrong?" He was like, "Nothing." It was the most boring night. I was like, "What's up with him?" He's like, "I just stopped drinking." And he was mad. It was crazy.
The difference,
He'd gone from the most fun and exciting, but obviously he was killing himself because he was drinking every day, every night. But he was the most fun, exciting, funny person you'll ever meet, to the most boring, most miserable person you'll ever meet because he'd stopped drinking. That was a great time of my life. That playing poker, I absolutely loved it. We'll talk about that. We'll get a couple of the poker players in actually that are still doing it.
I love that. Just to finish, I love the. What's the guy called who did the blogs for you? Tony Reptiles. Yeah, he's one of my favourite people, and I love him. Yeah, so he's not called Tony Reptiles. I call him Tony Reptiles. That's what he's in my phone. Yeah. Tony. What's Tony's second name? I don't know. We all know because he likes reptiles. He's the one. I'm going to get him on the podcast. Yeah. He's one of the most interesting people you'll ever meet. He's a writer, so he writes for. Well, write for anything, but. He wrote for a tattoo magazine. That's how I met him. We met him at a convention. But he used to be. He's probably one of the UK's leading experts on reptiles because he used to write for maybe a reptile or maybe a museum about reptiles or something like that. But he just became one of the most experts on because he taught himself. And then now he wrote books on being on a narrowboat because he's an expert on narrowboats and lives on narrowboats now. He used to write for a sports magazine, so he's really clued up on personal training and energy systems and all that sort of stuff. He's one of the most interesting, and I met him through tattooing. Right, yeah. That's one of the best things about tattooing, isn't it? The people we meet, and obviously the people we end up being friends and family with. I can't believe how many people we meet. I've met from school and from life, from that I wouldn't have. It's a great business. Just by being here, do you know what I mean? And trying to coming through the door, getting tired. I forgot what I was going to say now. I was going to say about Tony Reptile. So best quote when you're talking about poker, he has a quote about you that's like. Oh, when he wrote the blogs about it. Yes, he wrote 2 blogs about you, and he said he asked you why you quit poker, I think, and you just simply replied. You said because there was always a roulette table in between me and exit door. Yeah, it was crazy. Man.
That's where my gambling addiction came from. I was already addicted to gambling. Not so much addicted to gambling. I was already a bad gambler because of jackpot machines. I remember being in college and sneaking out to go and play the jackpot machines, £5 jackpot. You remember jackpot in town in Bolton? I used to go and play the £5 jackpots there, and we used to be late all the time. So I remember one day, me and we had a little lad called Wes came with us. Etty was in my college class as well, and we were late because we've been playing the gamblers, and we were walking back. We were like, what are we going to do? We're going to get in trouble when we get in. We were like fucking an hour late. So Wes went, right, someone punched me in the eye, give me a black eye. We'll say we got mugged and we had to speak. So we punched him, give him a black eye, and we went back in class. And he said, oh yeah, we got mugged and our money took off us because we'd lost all our money at the finger. So I became addicted to gambling through building up from jackpot machines and stuff. And then I was playing poker and I was flying at poker. I was a good poker player. I don't mind blowing my own trumpet on that. I was brilliant. And I made a lot of money playing poker. But then the way they set it up in a casino is clever. Right. They have the poker tables, the poker room is always at the back of the casino, so you have to walk through the casino. And sometimes I go in and early and get knocked out early in the tournament, and I'd spend the rest of the night on roulette, and I used to lose thousands. I used to make thousands at roulette and lose more thousands make thousands at poker and lose more at roulette every night. I remember one night I had £10,000 in a safe in my bedroom, and I took £2,000 out with me. I said, right, that's my limit for the night. I'm going to be playing poker. First the tournament, then the cash games after. Stay off roulette. Went in, got knocked out of the tournament dead early, which can happen. So I've got like 1,800 quid left in my pocket, and got on roulette, and I lost it within 5 minutes. I was within 500 quid a spin. And then I thought, right, I'll drive home, I'll get 2 more grand, and I'll come back and I'll play only poker for the cash game. And I lost that, and I went back and I did it 5 times. I lost all 10 grand in the night. It was crazy times, and obviously I ended up selling everything. Went to Vegas, lost it all, come back bankrupt, and that's when I started my business. My mum lent me the money to start my business.
Well, you probably address that when you get your your mates in.
I'll get one of the poker lads in, we'll talk about it, and if we could talk about the addiction of gambling and stuff like that, and how some people can deal with it and some people can't. I think addiction. I was on the Shinny show the other day. I was talking about addiction, and I think probably a big part of the success in the businesses is because of my gambling addiction. So it can be a good thing as well. Not a gambling addiction as such, but an addictive personality. I love taking risk, and they pay off sometimes, and sometimes they don't. Do you know what I mean? That's probably one of the biggest stresses in the business, is also as well as one of the biggest successes in the business, because you got to take a risk to do anything, to be able to achieve anything. Right, let's knock it on the head now. We've been on for nearly an hour now, so we'll get back on next Monday. Hopefully, I'm going to try and get Kev down. We're going to talk about training, energy systems, and he's really getting into personal development and success and building his business now, so we're going to talk to him about that as well. And
this podcast will be up probably latest Thursday.
The sound of it, the podcast version.
The sound is well, we'll get it up as soon as we can. I would
so
imagine
it can be downloaded to listen to.
We can give him a link,
So it's like almost like an audio book, and then we're also going to have the video. I've got a video on my phone here. I was going to go live on Facebook, but that shit out. So I'm going to
start putting it on YouTube, aren't we? So
and then we'll edit a video, and we'll cut out the crap where we've tripped up and we've talked about saying things or whatever. We'll edit that. We'll put that on YouTube. But the actual full video, the 50 odd minutes worth, I'm going to put that straight on Facebook as it is.
Cool.
And people can sit and watch that.
As well in that quote on the fisherman and the businessman, it's by Paulo Coelho.
Who?
Paulo Coelho.
Is it?
Yeah.
That's where the story comes from.
Yeah.
So I found it the other day because I wanted to post it in the video, and I just searched the fisherman and the businessman, and it came up with a story. It's a brilliant story, and it's really
There's no truer story, is there?
No, it's not all about money. It's about happiness. Right.
Cool.
Speak to you in a bit.